Welcome to this in-depth summary of Atomic Habits by James Clear, a book that has transformed millions of lives by showing how small, consistent changes lead to remarkable results. In the next few minutes, you'll discover not just how habits work, but how to redesign your daily life, reshape your identity, and become the person you aspire to be, one small habit at a time. So sit back, relax, and let this story unfold. Part 1. The Fundamentals. Imagine you're on an airplane flying from Los Angeles to New York. If the pilot adjusts the nose of the plane just 3.5 degrees south, you'll end up in Washington, D.C. instead of New York. A tiny shift in direction changes the entire destination. That's how habits work. Small changes, seemingly insignificant in the moment, determine where you end up in the long run. James Clear opens Atomic Habits with this profound idea: real change doesn't come from a single, massive effort. It comes from a series of tiny improvements, small wins that, when compounded, lead to extraordinary outcomes. This is the heart of his message. Habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. If you improve by just 1% every day, that may not sound like much. But over a year, those 1% gains multiply, and you end up nearly 37 times better. On the other hand, getting 1% worse every day leads you steadily toward decline. So, it's not just what you do once in a while, it's what you do consistently that defines your trajectory. Clear then challenges a common assumption, that success is the result of setting the right goals. In reality, he argues it's not about goals, it's about systems. Goals are good for setting direction, but systems are what drive progress. A goal might be to write a book, but the system is sitting down to write 500 words every day. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And deeper still, true change happens at the identity level. Most people begin the process of change by focusing on what they want to achieve. I want to lose weight, or I want to be productive. But the most powerful way to change is to focus on who you want to become. Want to become a runner? Don't focus on the finish line. Focus on becoming the kind of person who never misses a workout. Each action you take casts a vote for the type of person you believe you are. Every time you study, you're becoming a learner. Every time you cook a healthy meal, you're reinforcing the identity of a healthy eater. So ask yourself, who is the type of person I want to become? And then start acting like them, one small habit at a time. Part 2. The First Law. Make it obvious. Habits start with a cue, a signal that triggers the behavior. Most of our habits run on autopilot because our brains are constantly scanning for cues in our environment. But if you want to take control of your habits, the first step is awareness. Clear recommends creating a habit scorecard, a simple list of your daily behaviors like wake up, check phone, make coffee, read news, and so on. For each, you mark whether it's a good, bad, or neutral habit. This is about watching yourself with honesty, not judgment. Once you're aware, the next step is to reshape your environment. Our surroundings are full of cues that influence our behavior. If your phone is on your desk, you'll check it. If a book is visible on the nightstand, you're more likely to read it. To build good habits, you must make the cues obvious and visible. Clear gives us a powerful method: implementation intentions. Instead of vague resolutions like, I'll eat healthier, say, I will eat a fruit salad at 1 p.m. in the kitchen. When, where, and how, the more specific your plan, the better. Then comes habit stacking. This is where you anchor a new habit to an existing one. After I brush my teeth, I will meditate for 1 minute. The brain craves routines, and by chaining behaviors together, you strengthen both. In short, if you want a habit to grow, make it crystal clear when and where it happens. Don't rely on memory. Design your environment so the right choices are the easiest ones. Part 3. The Second Law. Make it attractive. Now that you've made the cue obvious, the next step is to make the habit attractive.
Why?
Because the more appealing a behavior is, the more likely you are to do it. Clear explains that our brains are wired to pursue pleasure. One technique is temptation bundling. Pair something you want to do with something you need to do. Listen to your favorite podcast only while exercising. Watch your favorite show only while ironing clothes. When you associate a positive feeling with a habit, your brain begins to crave it. Another strategy is to use social reinforcement. Humans are tribal. We imitate the habits of the people around us, especially those we admire, those in our close circles or the masses. If your environment includes people who eat healthy, work out, read, or work hard, you're far more likely to pick up those habits too. So, if you want to adopt a behavior, join a group where that behavior is the norm. Want to write more? Spend time with writers. Want to start a business? Join entrepreneurial communities. When habits are socially rewarded, they become attractive. And attractive habits are repeated. Part 4, the third law, make it easy. Forget motivation. Forget discipline. The real secret to sticking with a habit is to make it easy. Clear reminds us that human behavior follows the path of least resistance. We naturally gravitate toward actions that require the least effort. So, rather than trying to overcome resistance with willpower, reduce the resistance itself. This is where the 2-minute rule comes in. Take any new habit and scale it down to just 2 minutes. Want to read more? Read 1 page. Want to run daily? Start by putting on your shoes. These actions seem too small to matter, but that's the point. The goal is to master the art of showing up. Once you're in motion, momentum takes over. Clear also talks about environment design. If you want to eat healthy, prep meals in advance. If you want to spend less time on social media, log out or delete the apps. Make bad habits harder and good ones easier. Reduce friction for the habits you want and increase it for those you want to avoid. Automation helps too. Set up recurring transfers to save money. Use timers to limit screen time. Let systems do the work for you, so your environment nudges you in the right direction. In the end, repetition, not perfection, is the key. The more you repeat an action, the easier it becomes. And once it's easy, it becomes a habit. Part 5, the fourth law, make it satisfying. The final rule is simple. Make the habit feel rewarding. Why? Because behaviors that feel good are repeated. Our brains are wired to prioritize immediate rewards over long-term ones. That's why it's hard to save money, exercise, or eat well, because the benefits come much later. Clear suggests bringing the reward into the present moment. One of the best ways is habit tracking. Each time you complete a habit, mark it off, a calendar, a journal, an app. Seeing your progress builds momentum and motivates you to keep going. It's satisfying to not break the chain. Another strategy is accountability. Share your habit publicly. Make a commitment to someone else. Or set up a consequence. For every missed workout, pay a friend $10. When the habit is tied to immediate reward or immediate consequence, it sticks. But the deepest satisfaction comes from alignment with identity. When your habits reinforce the person you believe you are or want to become, that's when they truly last. So, what does all this mean? It means you don't need to make huge changes. You don't need to transform overnight. What you need is consistency, not intensity. Identity, not outcomes. Systems, not goals. Each tiny habit is a vote. A vote for the kind of person you want to be. You're not just reading a page. You're becoming a reader. Not just walking for 10 minutes. You're becoming someone who values health. Not just meditating for a moment. You're becoming someone who lives with intention. This is the secret behind atomic habits. Change doesn't come all at once. It comes in layers, over time, by doing small things well, consistently. You have the power to shape your life, one small habit at a time.